Welcome to our regular series of educational videos. We are FocusPoint Technologies, and we provide privacy and security solutions to the Upper Midwest. My name is Kathy Waschenberger, and I'm the CIO of FocusPoint Technologies. My background and my passion is all around aspects of data privacy, data protection, cybersecurity, and overall information risk management. Today, we're going to talk about a term that is way overused in the industry today called governance. Specifically in this video, I'm going to talk about the governance or the process of prioritization and decision-making for your privacy and security program. Remember, it's not to be confused with data governance, project governance, corporate governance, e-governance. Okay, you get the picture. All right, also after this slide, I promise I won't even say that dreaded word again throughout this video. The agenda for today is really to start off with the challenges that are faced by organizations related to the overall establishment of interaction, prioritization, and decision-making when it comes to privacy and security program. Notice I didn't actually say the word. I'll talk through the common components that should be included, like the rules of engagement. As you define your rules of engagement, I'll give you some things to consider both for yourself, your team, and your company's leadership and the organization as a whole. Of course, what you need to steer clear of, learn from those that have gone before you, and then let's talk about getting started, some practical steps to get you moving forward quickly. The biggest challenge is really to realize that you need rules of engagement. Call it what you want, but recognize that there's meaning behind that buzzword. Strategy, policy, training, prioritization, funding, staffing, metrics. It's all pieces of this puzzle. Usually, the leader of the privacy or security program knows that they need business engagement, but the others, the business, don't fully understand their role. Many leaders in organizations feel that the CISO or director of security or whatever title they have, the leaders feel that you have this. That's why they hired you. They can now check that box as complete. This is one of the biggest challenges that you and companies in general face today. It's easy to say, yes, it's important. It's much harder to understand why it's important. Of course, privacy and security may not be your only focus for your company. It might be your only focus, but not necessarily the company overall. So if you don't already, you must also recognize that there are competing business priorities, competing leadership meetings, competing funding requests, all asking the same people to govern the same things. Notice I didn't say that whole word. It's all a balancing act that good leaders must know how to perform. The struggle with one-way communication is also a problem. Once you can start to have that two-way conversation at multiple levels within the organization, you'll see our engagement process will improve drastically. Notice I said all levels of the organization, so that means executives communicating up, your staff communicating down, and of course your peers, sideways communication. The program must be understood and embraced at all levels to be truly effective. Remember, managing risk is not linear. It's not an easy point A to point B solution to a problem. It's an ever-evolving program that must continue to mature along with the industry. Achieving good engagement in your privacy and security program is really to define it in a way that others can understand. These 6 items here are the big pillars of any program. These items will help you ensure your program matures. These things will help establish those rules of engagement. Before you execute on these 6 pillars, establish your stakeholders. Again, do this across the organization at all levels. The highest level should include areas like the business leaders, legal, audit, HR, and others depending on your company size. Next, define the pillars. Create your strategy or your charter. Determine the policies that are initially needed. Understand how to spread awareness across all levels. Then engage your stakeholders in prioritization and report on the progress that you're making back to them. Do what's right for your organization, but include all of these important aspects in your process. So first of all, map your stakeholders, build your pillars, then reach your goal. So some things to watch out for. These are some of the areas to avoid. Learn from those that have been there, done that before you. Before you get too far down your path, certainly have conversations and gain buy-in from your boss, of course, and the stakeholders. Pique their interest, but don't use the FUD factor. Don't use fear, uncertainty, and doubt to do so. If you're using real world examples, ensure they're practical, they're easy to understand, and relevant to them, your audience, and really to their business goals. Once you get started, and do not, I repeat, do not overcommit yourself. It's too easy to drift back to the linear way of thinking and say things like, our company will be secure by X date, or you can improve within X months. Just make sure that if you're seeing those things, you can show the quick success and build on that success going forward. Demonstrate to the value to your company, to the business priorities, and most of all, keep it simple. Stay far away from buzzwords or technical terms. And if you have to get detailed, use terms that are referenced in the news today. If asked questions, use your judgment on how your response really should be framed, and absolutely be prepared to answer questions, to stand behind your goals, to work with the company's risk tolerance. You need to be seen as a peer that understands the threat landscape, but also understands the company priorities. So I think I've given you most of the next steps throughout the last few slides that we've talked through. So I won't belabor the points that I've made up already about where to start, how to make progress, continue to mature, etc. But once you get started, I'll leave you with this slide that I've used quite a few times in the past. It's pretty simple. The risk equation is risk equals threat times likelihood. Many are very clear with this equation and they understand it. So this chart will show the increasing threats on one side and the increase in time across the bottom. The red line will show the increase in risk, and the black line shows the progress of a privacy or security program like your company that they're making. If the program does not continue to progress as quickly as the risk, the gap will continue to widen. The primary goal of every risk program is to close this gap, or at least keep it as narrow as possible. So I hope this has been helpful. Certainly feel free to contact me directly with any questions that you have about this presentation or any other privacy or security issue you might be facing. It is my passion and I'm happy to discuss it. Thanks again for your time today and have a wonderful day.